Hi and welcome to this tutorial on the Dapper Sprig. We are super excited to be able to share with you how to make these amazingly comfortable pajama pants from Patterns for Pirates. We're super grateful for their hard work. Go ahead and give them a like and share your projects that you finish. We're super excited. So this is what will come in your mail. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take out our instructions and our pattern. So we have our instructions right here. Go ahead and set those aside, and then go ahead and open up your paper pattern, smooth it out as you go. You can get it nice and flat. Okay, so for this tutorial, we're going to do the size 14, which is the darkest, heaviest line on this pattern. So we want to go ahead and we want to cut this out. When we get to the crotch area, just make a diagonal on it and then continue up here, and I'll show you how to cut this out so we can save all of these sizes. And the other thing you want to remember is use your kitchen scissors to cut this out on this paper. Don't use your nice sewing scissors. Okay, so for this tutorial, we are just going to be using these two pieces. These pocket pieces. If you want to go ahead and use them later on when you make another set, you can go to Patterns for Pirates and they have some awesome tutorials. You'll also have instructions in your pattern on how to construct these pockets. Just a really quick message. We just want to let you know that we got special permission from Patterns for Pirates to print these out this way. They have a lot of PDF patterns that you can go and you can download and tape together, and download and print off and tape together. So go ahead and go and check them out. They have awesome patterns that are really easy to use and put together. Okay, so for this pattern, we have these pieces right here. And I've just taken and I've just cut down just a little bit so that I'll be able to see this dark line on my fabric. And you can go ahead and do the same thing over here. Now we're going to go ahead and we are going to place it on our fabric. Okay, so we have this beautiful fabric from Art Gallery. The designer is Sharon Holland again. And just make sure before you start cutting out your pattern that you wash your fabric. It's super, super important that you wash it the way that you're going to continue to wash it. So we'll just go ahead and we'll work on placement now. These pieces are smaller. If you have the Mama Bear joggers, you're going to want to put your pattern pieces on your fabric like this, so that you have the wider part down here and the smaller part up here. One thing that's super important to remember is to make sure that this long arrow right here, this goes right along with your grain. This fabric right here, where it has this nice cute side. This is your selvage. So you want to line it up. You want it to be exactly opposite of your selvage edge. So what we're doing for this pattern is we're going to be putting a yoga band on the top, and we're going to be putting a cuff band on the bottom. So for the size 14 pajama pants, we want to come up here to where it says the cuff line, this dark line right here. And instead of cutting it off, I am just going to fold it under so I can reuse this pattern. I'm all about like reusing a pattern a million times if possible. Okay, so over here you can see this cuff line for a size 14. We'll go ahead and we will fold that down. For this extra fabric that we have right here is going to be for our yoga band, waistband, and then we will also get our cuffs out of this. For the mama bear pattern, there will be enough fabric for you to be able to do a yoga band and to do cuffs as well. So let's go ahead and let's pin down our pattern. Okay, so what you're gonna do on how to pin is you're going to push your needle in and you're gonna feel it hit your hard surface. You're gonna pick up the fabric underneath, kind of bend it, and then put your needle through. And you wanna keep your pin so that it's away from any of the edges so you don't cut it. So as soon as you have it all pinned down, you're going to go ahead and you're going to follow along your darkest line. If you're doing a baby bear pajama, it might be a good idea to take different colored highlighters and go along the different lines so that you know exactly where you're going to be cutting. So go ahead and just get started cutting. Yeah, so just make sure that you cut right along the edge. You don't need to add anything to this pattern. There's already a seam allowance that's taken into consideration. Just really quick, I just want to show you, I'm just going to turn over this pattern so you can see that this pattern is just following again along this dark line right here. And same with this one. So on your baby bear joggers, and you'll have an extra paper in your pattern for the mama bear joggers on how big your waistband will be, your yoga waistband, and how big your cuffs will be. You just want to make sure that you are following the guidelines for putting it on the grain line. Just because we want to make sure that you are getting enough stretch in your waistband and in your cuffs, okay? And that can just be cut from the bottom of the fabric, and then you can just go ahead and set those aside. If you want to go ahead and take the pins out of your pattern, you can. I like to take them out but leave my fabric sitting on top of my pattern piece so it's ready to go, but I don't lose which piece it is. So just take the pins out and leave your paper pattern piece on top of your fabric. So we'll go ahead and we will take these pins out, and we will get to the next super exciting part of putting our snuggly jammies together. Okay, so we have our back pattern piece. The way that you can tell it's the back pattern piece is that it has the larger curve and more room in the thigh area. This is our front piece, and what we're going to do is we're going to just lay our front piece on top of our back piece, and we're going to just take a few minutes and we are just going to pin this all together, and then we will take it over to our sewing machine and we will sew it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're only pinning this side seam for right now. Ready to take it over to the sewing machine. Okay, so after you have pinned your front piece to your back piece here, this larger one is for your back piece, we are going to, after you've pinned them together on the side seam, we are going to sew 1/2 inch in. I just want to make a note of, I'm using the white thread so it will show up a little bit better as I sew, and make it easier to see. So what you are going to just backstitch on the beginning and on the end. So we'll just go ahead and sew that now. Clip your threads and set it aside and go ahead and do the next side. Okay, so we have our side seam right here that has been stitched, and what we are going to do is we're going to work on our inner seam right here. So we're going to take this and we're going to move it, we're going to take our top piece, we're going to move it over here, and we are going to pin this together. Make sure that you're not stretching. You just want to make sure with your knits that you are keeping them even all the way across, so that your garment doesn't have any twists in it. Okay, we're here again. We're going to make sure that we're doing a 1/2 inch seam allowance. We've got your pins here. Go ahead and do a back stitch. Okay, so we have our two pieces here where they are sewn on the inside and the outside, and then what we're going to do is we are going to put one leg inside of the other leg. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn this leg inside out, and we are going to slide it right down inside here. Just go ahead and pull it down. You want to go ahead and you want to match up your seams. This is the center of the crotch here. You want to make sure that your seams are matching up right there. Go ahead and put a pin in it, and then go ahead and match up your top pieces right here and pin them. make sure that they're matched up there. Put a pin, and I like to just do one more, and then we can go ahead and we can sew this crotch piece together. Just want to make sure that you always have your thread pulled to the back. Go ahead and make sure you have your half inch seam allowance. Okay, so we just did our nice crotch seam here. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this leg out of the other one, like so, and pull this out, and voila! You have almost some pajama pants. Now we're going to go ahead and we are going to do the cuffs and the waistband. We're going to take our waistband piece right here like this. We're going to fold it over so the right sides are together. That means the colored pretty sides are together. We want to go ahead and pin those. And then we want to go ahead and do the same thing with the cuffs. And we'll take it over to the sewing machine now. And we are just going to go ahead and sew one piece right after the other. Our waistband here, we are going to turn it. We're just going to have the two edges meet like this, and we turn it around on itself, if that makes sense. And then we are going to bring it over here to our pants. So how you can tell the front from the back is the front has a shorter piece. So if you go ahead and bring your seam down here, the back is sticking up. You want to go ahead and put your seam onto the side, your side seam of fabric. And go ahead and line up the raw edges and pin. You want to pin so that your waistband is on top of your pants. Go ahead and fold your waistband from where your pin is at, from where it's your seam and it's pinned at. You have your halfway mark, and go ahead and pin that onto the opposite seam. Okay, so go ahead and pin your halfway mark to the seam on the opposite side of your pants. Put your two pins together and you get your next halfway mark. You want to take and pin that to your middle seam. And then again for your last piece, go ahead and hold it out and pin it to your seam. So you can see that you have a lot of play between your waistband and your pants. What we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be stretching our waistband so that it fits our pants, and what that's going to do is it's going to provide enough strength to actually hold up your pants. So we will go ahead and we will take this over to the sewing machine. We do the cuffs the exact same way we did the yoga waistband. We go ahead and we fold it in half. We fold the seams in half like this, and then have the whole cuff turn around like that. And just kind of play with it until you can work it into place and you have a nice, good, solid edge there, like that. You're going to go ahead and you're going to find the crotch side of your pajama pants, and you're going to place the seam. You're going to line those seams up like this and pin that. And you're going to take the opposite side of your cuff and you are going to find your outside seam of your pajama pants like this, and you're going to pin those together. And again, pin it on the outside, and again, your cuff is going to be bigger than the fabric because it's going to pull your pants in, the bottom of your leg in. Okay, on this is going to be a little challenging because again, we are stretching our yoga band to fit our yoga pants underneath. So just be patient with this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to line up this first seam. We're going to put that under our machine. Remember again, 1/2 inch seam allowance there. Go ahead and we're gonna stretch. Your fabric is gonna kind of roll, and you could at this point go ahead and put a few more pins in if you wanted. That could help you make it a little bit easier. So we'll just go ahead. And remember with this, the goal is to finish, not to have something that's completely perfect. And we'll go ahead and we'll move on next to the cuffs. Okay, we want to go ahead and make sure that we are lining up start with our seam right here first. Put it in a 1/2 inch. And on this one, you're going to be working in tighter quarters. So it kind of helps if you kind of turn it up just a little bit like this. Go ahead, backstitch. Look what we have. We have our yoga pajama pants, and they are just gonna fit so comfy and be so nice. Right now, go ahead and put them on and see how comfy and soft they are. Thanks for joining us for this tutorial.